Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai. Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai.
Leadership is lifting a person's vision to high heights, the raising of a person's performance to a higher standard, the building of a personality beyond its normal limitations. With this beautiful quote by Peter Drucker, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Hope everyone is safe and sound. Well, I'm Niveda Rajat, Assistant Professor from the Department of Human Resource Management, shall be your host for the day. It's my privilege to extend a warm welcome to the guest of honor and speaker for the day, Mr. M. Seshasai, Honorary Consul General Republic of Seychelles. Before we commence, the feedback form will be available in the YouTube description box. At the end of the session, you are requested to complete and submit the form before 6 p.m. today. Later, the form will be deactivated. The e-certificate for participation will be sent to your registered email ID immediately. May I now request Dr. Jem, Head of the Department, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you, Niveda. Good afternoon, one and all. My regards to everyone present here. On behalf of the Department of Human Resource Management, Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, University, I feel very pride and pleasure in welcoming you all for our webinar on leadership. Leadership is a capacity to translate vision into reality, wherein Venice, the above quotes, has become true for our wonderful leaders, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam, Founder Chancellor, and to our Honorable President, Engineer A.C. Arun Kumar Sir, who are our inspiring leaders who always motivate us. Heartfelt thanks for their support in all the ways. A very warm welcome and thanks to our Joint Registrar of Phase II, Dr. S. Ramalingam, Dean Dr. S. Manivannan, Deputy Dean of Academics, Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, and Deputy Dean of Administration, Professor K. Sendil Kumar, for their wonderful motivation and guidance. A cheerful welcome to all the executives, deans, heads, faculty members, students, research scholars, and all of them for their wonderful support. I would like to thank and welcome from the bottom of my heart to Mr. Ganesh Babu and Ms. Akshya for their wonderful technical support forever. Hearty welcome to our eminent speaker of the day, Mr. Seshasai, Honorary Consul, General Republic of Seychelles. She is a multi-talented person who has won many awards for his wonderful services rendered in various fields, such as an industrialist, faculty, farming, etc. We feel pride and happy to have you with us today, sir. I would also like to thank you for accepting our invitation and for your presence. Leadership, it means different things to different people around the world and different things in different situations. It may relate to community leadership, political leadership, religious leadership, and so on. Leadership plays a vital role everywhere, whether it is in family or in industry or at anywhere. Leaders are the role model, and they are the people who always inspires us, guides us, and makes us to do everything in a right way. Leadership is not an easy task. It requires various qualities. What are those leadership qualities? Who is actually a leader? What is the role of a great leader? And to make no more and enrich about the leadership concept, we have Mr. Seshasai here. Without taking much time, I once again welcome you all for our webinar on leadership. Thank you.
Now it's time to introduce our eminent chief guest for the day. It's a great privilege to introduce our eminent chief guest, Mr. M. Seshasai, who has meticulously led teams to achieve organizational missions and strategic directions across industry, delivering sustained organizational growth in dynamic environments, accredited with new step-up, enhanced revenues and streamlined systems processes, visionary, process-oriented and result-minded executive noted as an expert manager and motivational leader bringing in rare level business acumen and record of achievements with rich over 24 years career. He had partnered with Coca-Cola to manufacture and distribute Kinley water. Sir had promoted and managed the largest mineral water factory in Asia in terms of capacity in 2003 and was the distributor for Nokia phones and badged the award for the best distributor for India in 2009. Our resource person has joined as a professor at Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, teaching marketing concepts and rural entrepreneurship for management students between the year 2012 and 2015. Sir has also started a school named Farm Guru for city children to understand better agriculture and farming. He was also a part of the Roundtable India and became the best chairman for the country. And became the first chairman for the country. He was also the best Rotarian for Rotary Club of Madras during 2018 and received the Pole Star Award, the best secretary for the Rotary district. So was also awarded for the best youth service director in the year 2017, and he was recently got elevated to became the honorary Consul General for Republic of Seychelles for South India. On behalf of our department and our university, we wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors. Now, the most awaited time has arrived. Without any further delay, I welcome our guest of honor and speaker for the day, Mr. M. Seshasai, to proceed with his presentation. So we request you to take over the session.
Thank you. Thank you. In Japan, the way they greet is they bow to each other and say moshi moshi. And similarly, if you watched kung fu movies, they actually have this kind of a expression. They bow down to each other, which moshi moshi, and this expression also means, let's not have a fight. You and me might have a physical fight, but mentally we are great friends. So both the moshi moshi and this expression, both of them mean that you should have peace in life. And similarly, some people say salam alaikum, which means the peace of God be upon you. So every expression of a greeting has something to do with peace in life. And similarly in India, how we greet is that we say namaskaram. Namaste is actually a noun. Namaskaram is the verb form of namaste. They say namaskara or namaskaram, which actually means I see God in you and I bow to the God in front of me. And similarly in Tamil Nadu, the way they greet is vanakkam. Vanakkam has a beautiful syllable. It's called the Aida Eduthu, and in Aida Eduthu there are 3 dots, which probably in my opinion means the 2 eyes of mine is looking at the divine eye of yours and I'm bowing to the divine eye in front of me. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா என்னுடைய 2 கண்கள் உங்களுள் இருக்கும் அந்த நெற்றிக்கண்ணான கடவுளை பார்த்து நான் வணங்குகிறேன். So vanakkam to everybody in MGR University, vanakkam to all the faculty members, vanakkam to the Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Registrar, and all the other dignitaries who have made this possible. It's been an amazing day for me, and I had been preparing from morning, and I wanted to give the best to the students and the faculties so that we can share information. So to start with, Madam Niveda had said that I am the honorary consul for a country called Republic of Seychelles. In this juncture, I'm going to take about 2 to 3 minutes in explaining what honorary council is, and then I will proceed to the topic on leadership. The whole flow of the presentation today would be that 2 to 3 minutes of what honorary council is, and I would give you about 4 to 5 case studies depending on the time, and I would show you a lot of videos. So it's going to be a very light and probably not so serious session, because I did not know how the audience would be. So I have balanced it in such a way that most of us can understand the whole thing. So being a honorary consul of Seychelles, like every country has an ambassador. Some countries, they cannot afford to have their own office. So they appoint the local person, and I become the representative of Republic of Seychelles in South India. I had done a lot of community service on the medical front, medical camps and all that. And since Seychelles is a small country with a population of 1 lakh people, they do not have a viable hospital. So they brought their patients to Chennai, and they needed a representative, and that's how I was chosen, because I had been doing a lot of community service activities. Seychelles is a beautiful island country with 105 islands, and the most important islands are the Mahe, Pralin, Ladik and Silaut Island. It is in the middle of Indian Ocean, and I am appointed by the President of Republic of Seychelles and President of India. So he is the new president who had got elected in the month of October. The previous president, Mr. Fjord, has been a very close friend to me, and he had come to Chennai many times, and he had come to Chennai mostly to do some shopping. So we had been shopping and negotiating on the shopping. What is it that we were shopping for? We were shopping for a lot of industrial products, and one of the biggest shopping things we have done is that we bought a Coast Guard ship or a boat from L&T. And because of this position, I had the opportunity to meet the Prime Minister of India and a lot of other dignitaries. The most important dignitary is the Lieutenant General Kiran Bedi, and she and me had become very close after a function where 250 years before, 4 Indians went and settled in Seychelles. And to commemorate that 250 years, we had a function, and the one gentleman between me and Kiran Bedi is my ambassador, His Excellency Philip Lee Gall. Okay, Seychelles is a beautiful country. Out of the 10 best beaches in the world, 2 of them are in the Republic of Seychelles. So recently I was given a task that during the pandemic last year, that is in the May, close to about 111 citizens of Seychelles were stranded in India. So I was given the task to make sure that they go back to their country, and because all of them had come, some of them had come as patients, some of them have come as traders, some of them have come for religious functions, and some of them have even come for family get-togethers. So my job was very tough because it was really a lockdown at that point of a time. So I had to write to the Ministry of External Affairs, and they gave me the permission after 20 days, after a lot of discussion with the bureaucracy. So a special flight came, and you can see all of them going back to Seychelles. And this was a very heartfelt task which I have done among all the tasks for Seychelles. A special flight came from Seychelles, and this was in Minabakam. No other flight had come before. This was the first flight after pandemic. I mean, I'm talking from the abroad, and it was a beautiful task for me. You can see all the patients and the citizens going back to Seychelles in that flight. And one of these ladies, who the grandmother and the grandson, after she had gone to Seychelles, she returned me this WhatsApp message, and I thought I will share this really hard, warm message. I could never, even this morning, she sent me a good morning message and Tamil New Year's Day greetings. So that's it about what Honorary Council is. The reason why I wanted to explain is a lot of people talk about vaccine diplomacy, diplomatic relations and all that. One of the diplomatic relations with Seychelles is Seychelles has been a very good friend for India, and that's the reason why we were very close to the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji. So coming back to leadership, my father was a very simple, humble man. He started off his life by selling snuff. It is called Mookupodi in Tamil, and but he acquired a lot of wealth. And today, if I am comfortable and I am talking in front of you, is because of all the blessings he has given to me. Fortunately, today happens to be his anniversary, also death anniversary. So I thought I will mention about him before I start on leadership, because he's been a great leader and an inspirator for me. Anyway, this is Indra Nui, who says that leadership is hard to define, but if you can get people to follow you to the ends of the earth, then you're a great leader. I have another definition which says that if you can see what others cannot see, then you're a wonderful leader. Right. This is something which I have read about a couple of years ago. This is a book by James Cars, who says finite and infinite games. So finite games is like, a cricket or a baseball or a football, whereas infinite games are something like which happens in the video. Finite games is you have a start, you have a finish, and in every finite games there is a loser. If there's a winner, there's a loser. Today we're going to talk about really a positive approach, and I am more a self-proclaimed optimist. So I'm going to talk about a lot of optimist things in life. Infinity games is like, on the video, some people joins, they have their own rules, and they kind of create their own rules. Business is like an infinity game. It doesn't end. You might end, but the business never ends. So on leadership, you can be a political leader, like Madam Dr. JM had said. You can be a political leader, you can be a religious leader, you can be a college principal, you can be different kinds of leader. But there are different kinds of leaders. Even a family leader or a family head is also a leader. So, but today we're going to talk more on the business side and business angle as to what leadership is. So leadership, I'm not going to talk about too many things. I'm going to talk to you only about 5 important points at what is required on leadership. First is to understand what is the reason, or the why is the reason you are actually doing that business. Second is to show empathy in the leadership. Third is to have a lot of innovation in the leadership. And fourth is to be very positive by being a leader. And fifth, there should be a good leader when there is crisis. Today there is crisis, and that's the reason why I thought I'll add that point. So I'm going to talk to you only about these 5 points, and based on that we can have a question and answer session, and then we can follow. Most of you must have heard about this gentleman called Simon Sinek. He's done a lot of books, he's written a lot of books, and he's spoken in various TED Talks. He had said, the most important thing in any business is not what you do, how you do. The most important thing is why you do that particular kind of a business. So I'm going to give you a 3-minute or 2.5 minute of his talk where he explains as to why is the most important thing in any business, to understand why you're doing the business.
Why is it that Martin Luther King led the civil rights movement? He wasn't the only man who suffered in a pre-civil rights America, and he certainly wasn't the only great orator of the day. Why him? And why is it that the Wright brothers were able to figure out controlled powered manned flight when there were certainly other teams who were better qualified, better funded, and they didn't achieve powered manned flight, and the Wright brothers beat them to it? There's something else at play here. About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operate in it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the Wright brothers, they all think, act, and communicate the exact same way, and it's the complete opposite to everyone else. All I did was codify it. And it's probably the world's simplest idea. I call it the golden circle. Why, how, what? This little idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire where others aren't. Let me define the terms really quickly. Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Let me give you an example. I use Apple because they're easy to understand and everybody gets it. If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? And that's how most of us communicate. That's how most marketing is done. That's how most sales is done. And that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do. We say how we're different or how we're better. And we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients, do business with us. Here's our new car. It gets great gas mileage. It has, leather seats. Buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do,
Right. So you saw that message. So to give it a local example, most of you must have seen Saranac Stores. Saranac Stores, his father had this why message, Unmai, Uழைப்பு and Uyarvu. Whereas the son has come and changed it and said Brahmandamai. So everybody, the moment you see Saravana, you hear the name Saravana Bhavan, the first thing which comes to you in your mind is the vegetarian. And it is very, very tasty and good food, quality food. So like that, every organization, every product has a why in that. And most important for any leader is to communicate that why to the person. So I have started becoming interested in organic farming. And as I was doing organic farming, since I was an entrepreneur, I realized that school children did not have enough knowledge about agriculture. So my objective was to make sure that they have a one-day farming experience. One, they should not waste food. Second, they also have to understand as to how difficult it is to make food and also know the importance of farming. Now, I was trying to sell the idea of organic farming to various school principals because my clientele has been the students, but the decision-making authority is the school principal. So what happens is when I go to her or him and tell the concept that I'm going to bring the students, my level or the aspiration of the principal goes up and up and up. But the moment I talk to them about the commercial value, saying that I am going to charge about 700 rupees, including the bus, lunch and all that, suddenly the whole aspiration and expectation drops down. Then that's when I have to take it back and show them that there is a value for the students. And this is how I started communicating the value to the principals, because every time the most important a leader has to understand is that he might have a great idea, but when a customer asks him for objections or asks him why, then you need to have a good proper communication to make the person understand why. So this is the brand. I have it as Farm Guru and my tagline is Soil and Me. My whole thing about my whole life revolves around that soil and me. And that's how I have derived, or we as a team had derived that soil and me. For example, if one of the students here, he was a small speck in the mother's stomach, and if his mother has not eaten the food, he wouldn't have grown this big. So the food actually came from the soil. So the real mother actually is the Bhumi Mata or Mother Earth. So that's the reason we coined that soil and me. So as we kept on doing it, we did a lot of rehearsals and finally, we arrived at this message. So most of the principals ask, what is organic farming? So I'm going to take to you, this is one of my videos in the farm. You can have a look at how children enjoy in our farm. Right. So the moment I say organic farming, the next thing which comes into the mind is food security. What is food security? Food security is if you have 1 year of food stored in the FCI godowns or the government godowns, then we have enough food. We cannot eat money. We need food every time. So the moment you have that 1 year food, then we are positive food security. Fortunately, because of the increased irrigation channels we had and lot of inputs from fertilizers, we had a great production in the last 1 decade. So if you look at it today, we almost have 2 years of food production stored in the various godowns and which is available for the public. So the moment we have enough food, the next thing is to talk about healthy food. A lot of pesticides have gone into our food grains and goes to our mother's kitchen, and we have trouble in terms of skin allergies and cancer. So to avoid that, everybody is going back to the traditional way of natural farming or organic farming. So I'm going to explain one aspect of that why as to how I am going to communicate to a principal of a school. So most of us know that the top of the grains, மேல இருக்கிற அந்த விதைகள் வந்து அதுக்குள்ள அரிசி இருக்கு, is very useful. The paddy is very useful for us, whereas the bottom hay is actually a waste for us. The hay, which is a waste for us, it is eaten by the cow, and the cow gives cow dung, and cow dung for somebody is a delicacy. You know, the person who eats the cow dung in a very in a delicacy manner is the earthworms, and the waste of the earthworms is actually called the vermicompost. Vermicompost is the cheapest natural fertilizer available in India. So let me take you one more round of the whole thing. The rice, the paddy is very useful for us. The bottom of the rice, which is the grass or the hay or the vaikol in Tamil, they say is a waste for us, but very useful for the cows. So the cows give the cow dung, which is a waste for the cow dung, but is a delicacy or a food for the earthworms. And the earthworms waste is vermicompost, which goes back into the rice and goes into the kitchen and becomes biryani. So if you had biryani on a Sunday or a Ramzan day, it's actually nothing but cow dung. So when we explain this, the Y factor, the soil and me, goes straight into the cycle. The whole thing is a cycle. So here is another example of how all of us know the primary why of a Lifebuoy soap is to kill germs. So the leader in probably the HUL had decided that they should have a wonderful promotion to make sure the message about the bacteria in their hands has to go to the public in the most cheapest way. So look at this amazing Y factor which is being transferred from the company to the public or the customer.
Still kills 1.1 million children annually in developing countries. Lifebuoy believes this can be averted. The Mahakumbh Mela India 2013, the largest religious festival on the planet. Over 100 million people come here to pray together, live together, and eat together. Lifebuoy soap saw this as the perfect opportunity to convey an important message. Always wash your hands with soap before you eat. Our medium, the roti or Indian bread, served with almost every Indian meal. And the only way to eat it is with your hands. We created a heat stamp capable of leaving a simple message on a roti. Did you wash your hands with Lifebuoy? And over 30 days, a team of 100 people stood in 100 kitchens, stamping over 2.5 million fresh rotis, helping us to reach out to over 5 million visitors at the Mahakumbh Mela. So, will people remember to wash their hands?
So that was a beautiful factor on the why. So the second important point is empathy. empathy is very, very important in terms of understanding a leadership. Those were the days, the leader used to be very powerful and he was kind of a scream at everybody and he used to get very angry. But those days are gone. Today, you require a friend who's working with you. And if you need to grow, you have to make sure that that person also grows along with you. So empathy is very much required. And one example, leadership is about empathy. It is about having the ability to relate to and connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. So unless they grow, like I said, you cannot grow along the company. So leaders are not in charge. Please understand that every time they say the person in charge is that HOD, it should be that they are in our charge. That's how things should change. Understanding the difficulties of the co-personnel or the student or the watchman, the driver, anybody is very, very important. One example I would like to give you is that, a friend of mine had gone to Sweden for some business. He actually he's an architect and he wanted to buy some kind of bathroom ware for the buildings here in Chennai. So he got down from the airport and the leader of that company, who's probably the CEO, came and picked up, and they were very early to the office. And as they went to the office, he parked at the farthermost point from the office. So our Indian friend asked him, "Why are you parking so far? There are so many slots available near the office." He said, "I have come early, but there are a lot of people who will come very, very late. It is for them and they can reach the office faster." So that is empathy. A good leader will think in such a way and make sure that his people who are working with him are actually more comfortable, and that way he actually grows along with them. Another example is that, there are two hotels in Chennai. It is a changing experience for me. And the person who works totally about 16 hours a day worked in both Marriott Hotel and Hyatt. So he found that he was very comfortable in the hotel Marriott than Hyatt. The reason is, in Marriott, the manager every time used to come and say, "Hey, how are you, man? Are you okay? Is everybody in the family all right?" is what he'll keep saying. And he will suggest as to how he can improve his workforce. Whereas in Hyatt, the manager used to always find fault for him. "Hey, why have you not combed hair? Why you have not shaved your, why you not shaved today? Why don't you keep the napkin this way?" So finding fault is not a great leader. He's not a great leader. A person who helps him to do his job better is a great leader. So empathy is very, very important. And the third factor is that I wanted to talk about is the innovation. Innovation is the in factor today. Everybody needs to innovate. In this pandemic, a lot of people had converted their factories into making something which is required for this pandemic. So crucial addition to the traditional business thinking is very, very important. New ideas and energy to your role as a leader to solve your challenges is very important. Since it's a HR department, I would like to give an example of what happened to me in my real life. I used to manufacture mineral water, and we were the first people to start bubble tops in Chennai along with two other companies. And that time, mineral water was a luxury. It was not still a want or a need. So what happened is I had to do only direct marketing. I could not do promotions on the television or in the newspaper. So my only objective was, when I do direct marketing, I did not have enough money. So I need number of people. There is one formula which I arrived at, that a salesperson, if he's able to do 20 calls, he's able to get one order. That was the formula which I kept in my mind. So if I have 100 people, which means in 20 calls into 100 is what they will do, and so much of sales I would get. So I realized I needed more people, but I cannot afford to pay them a big salary. At that time, a big salary, what Eureka Forbes was the only company where they were having direct marketing team. And I realized that I should do something about it. So I saw this advertisement similar to this. This came about day before yesterday. I saw a similar advertisement saying, "Have you failed in 10th? Have you failed in 12th? Please come to us. We'll give you sales techniques and we will make sure that you earn money in the 3rd month." I was very impressed with that. I went and saw that academy, and for that advertisement, close to about 1,000 people had applied. What he does is he takes a fee of only 3,000, gives them good marketing techniques, and also goes to various companies and tells them, these guys are equipped with sales and they have sales techniques in their mind. So can you kind of adopt them or employ them? What I did is I opened an office with a large theater style auditorium and made sure that 100 people were employed. And I said, if they are able to sell 3 connections of my water, then they don't have to pay the fee. So the advantage I had was that I had 100 students working for me for free for the next 3 months. And I also, after 3 months, took the best out of them. Close to about 26 of them agreed to work with me, and I did not have to give training again. So that for the HR people, this is one innovation which has always made me feel that I had grown in life because of that simple innovation which I had seen as an advertisement. So things are dynamic. About 20 years ago, I used to carry a pager and I used to think, the best way to communicate to my people is through a pager. But in exactly 6 months, you can see that the pager is gone and the cell phone has come. It was 8 rupees and 16 rupees and 8 rupees for outgoing and incoming, and it became 1 rupee. Today, WhatsApp has become free. So all we have to understand is the world is going in a great pace. All of you have to go and order this book by Yuval Noah Harari. He is an Israeli and he is speaking about how the world in the next 10 years is going to be. The communication flow for the team as a leadership team is going to happen so dynamic that most of you are using phones, and every data, whatever you're using, let's say for example, you're using Kindle to read a book. The moment you read a sentence again and again, which means you're impressed by the sentence and somebody is noting it down. So after 10 years, let us say you're looking for shoes and you order for shoes, it will remember that somewhere you liked the Bata shoe or the whichever shoe, Nike shoe, and it will pop up by saying, yes, you like Nike shoes and these are the models. So it's going to be a different world in 10 years from now. And this is another man who had done an amazing job in converting his pizza oven into making shields. This has happened in Washington, and that's a fantastic and beautiful innovation which he had done. Made sure that all his workmen joined with them and did something similar by using the same pizza oven. Most of you know that Oyo is on bankrupt. There is one hotel man. What he did is, all his workmen, he said, all of you come to the hotel. The hotel is completely empty. Let's all cook together and become a family. And once the pandemic is over, we'll all rock and roll, is what he said. And that was an amazing concept, is what I thought. So in close to about 6 years ago, we had this Windows 8, which was launched. And the Windows team or the Microsoft team had this difficulty in explaining people that Windows is actually very, very easy and anybody can understand. But the elderly people could not really get into that technology, and to make them come to their showroom and make sure they think that it is very, very simple. Look at this amazing case study and an innovative idea.
Estaria interessado numa pequena demonstração? Sim, eu vou então chamar um colega. Só um minuto.
Posso ajudar?
Explica-me lá.
Então, a variedade do assunto é a taxa. Depois temos mosaics dinâmicos que nos permitem personalizar a nossa página inicial. Se quisermos fazer alguma coisa. eu faço a demonstração.
So that was a lot of innovation there, and Microsoft team had worked so hard to make sure that they want to tell the people that Windows 8 is very simple, even a child can use it. And I think such innovation is very much required for any leader. And the fourth point is being positive. Positive is such an important thing that that you need to remove all the obstacles in life. A lot of the children come to me, and when I talk about positive to them, I say, every car has a brake. The car has a brake, but why do you have a brake is what I ask them. They say to stop. I say, if you want to do 150 kilometers in life, in a car, you need brakes also for you to have confidence. So similarly, your parents or your teachers are all brakes, because they keep saying, don't do this, don't do that, comb your hair, eat on time, sleep well, don't watch movies and all that. They put brakes because for you to have confidence tomorrow when you grow up in life, for you to have confidence, they're putting brakes, is what I tell them in a positive way. And similarly, most of you, when I ask you why you'd go to a doctor, you would say, when I am sick, I go to a doctor. But if a doctor reverses the position by saying, eat all this, you don't have to come to me, that is a positive thing. So what is required in this country and in the leadership is to be very, very positive and remove all the obstacles in the way. Today, a lot of people talking very negatively is actually, it is like everybody says, yeah, the tunnel is there, but the light is too far. Don't concentrate on the darkness. Always concentrate on the light, which is far away. The more you concentrate on that, you'll forget the darkness and reach the light faster as you can. So create positive team, and it is possible. Only you have a positive mindset in you. And finally, and the most important thing is leadership in crisis. Like in the pandemic, it is a crisis for a lot of businesses, and I'm also finding it difficult to pay salaries to my workforce. So we need to find ways to kind of approach them, and at that time create innovative ideas to make sure that we all work as a team and go against the crisis and make sure that we kind of go forward. So one such example of crisis management is done by Mion Hospital, because I'm very much associated with them. 18 people died about 5 years ago because of the floods in Chennai, and the chief of the whole hospital did not have electricity because the water came into the hospital, and all the ICUs, the oxygen cylinders, everything. Yeah, Mion is a very expensive hospital, but the kind of infrastructure they have is equivalent to any hospital in the world. So they had got a very bad name because of this deaths, but the management got in together as a good team, and they all joined together, and the health minister came and visited and said, you guys had to mess it up, but make sure that you don't do such mistakes in the future. It is a natural disaster, but still all of them worked as a team. And if you see today, a lot of ministers are actually going back to Mion for their treatment. So such crisis happens to any business, but what is important is how you address that crisis is very, very important. So this is one example which I would like to give. This man goes to an interview, and he normally has to wear a tie and a jacket, and it's from a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness, one of my most favorite scenes in that movie, and it shows how this man is going to become a great leader in future. So he goes there, and as he goes about to leave his home where he's painting his house, he realized that the police had caught him because he had parked. He was in a no parking area about 2-3 months ago, and since he could not pay his fines and he did not have money, they took him to the hospital, the police station, and he explained to them that he had an interview, and he went to the interview, but he did not have time to go home, change into a jacket and a tie. And this is what happens in the interview. I want all the children to watch, and the interview is very, very important. It is not your degrees or it is not what certificates you have. What is important is the person at the interview, how impressed he is, and he will see how smart you are, and that's how the small leader is born in any organization. Have a look at this video. It was a real crisis, but he changed that crisis into a slightly humorous way, and he got the job. So it is important that you go into the crisis, be yourself, and make sure with a team you come out successfully. Today is Charlie Chaplin's birthday, and these are his most powerful words I have ever heard from him. You need power only when you want to do something harmful. But if you want to be a leader and if you want to grow, love is enough to get anything done. So thank you so much, and thank you to Dr. JM for this wonderful opportunity. It's been an amazing, learning for me, because from morning I had been listening to a lot of eminent speakers worldwide and had taken a lot of points so that, it translates into something meaningful to all of you. So thank you once again to every member in the Dr.M.G.R. Educational and Research Institute, and to all the faculty and to the students. And now it's a question and answer time. So vanakkam to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request Ms. Akshaya to take over the question and answer session.
Thank you, ma'am. So thank you, sir, for delivering a wonderful session. So I request the participants to put your queries in the chat box. Sir, one of the participants had asked, out of 5 mentioned leadership qualities, which quality is the most important for you, sir?
Yeah, to understand why you're doing that business is the most important quality.
Okay.
Yes. For example, why am I doing an agriculture? Why should I even transfer the so-called agriculture knowledge to the school children? So I need to come out with that why. And not only, for example, if you want to do a business on something to do with water, the most important thing on water, because I am a Kinley water manufacturer, and I'm telling you, the water, raw material and the finished good looks the same. If you pour in a glass, you don't know whether it's Kinley water or corporation water. People buy it because they trust you. They believe in what you believe, and that's why they buy. So that why factor is very, very important. In your house, if a newborn baby is there, and if you're able to give water to that newborn baby, that's the trust the customer will have from you. First of all, you should have it in your house and give it to the newborn baby in your house. Once you have that trust, it is easy to get that why factor to communicate the why factor to the customer. Hope I satisfied her query.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, one more question. How can I develop more empathy? I'm becoming more stressful.
Right. That's a very fantastic question. Yeah. See, most of the children these days, they are given what they want. They know my son suddenly wanted to go and study in America. I said, hey, you have been a brilliant student. So, go to the best universities in America. But what happened is in 1 year, he did not like it. So I had to understand that these people were never given the opportunity to learn that they cannot get something. For example, there is this amazing speaker by name Sheena Iyengar. She's completely blind, and she did a research in Columbia University, and her research was on choices. So she went to Japan, and in Japan, she sat in a coffee shop and asked for a coffee. And then they all said, no, you should try the tea here. So she asked for a green tea, and when she sipped it, she wanted sugar. So she asked the manager, can I have sugar? The manager said, in green tea, you do not have sugar. But she said, I know in Japan, you people in green tea do not have sugar, but I am an American, Indian origin American, but I want sugar in my. He again said, In green tea, you do not have sugar. So she called the manager. The manager came and said, in green tea, you should not have sugar. So in Asia, you should realize that the choices are not given to you. The choices are always dependent on somebody. I'll give you a slightly better example for you to understand. If there is a problem in your house for somebody and you go to a doctor, the doctor gives you 3 different choices. In America, let us say the choices are given. You can have medication, but it will take 6 months. You can have a keyhole surgery and medication, it will take 1 month. A surgery, in about 1 week, she can go home fully recovered. The choice is yours, is what the Americans will say, and you have to take a choice. In India, it is not like that. Doctor, whatever you say will be the right thing, and we leave the choice to you. And the reason we do not have that guilt feeling in India is because we have understood that the choices is dependent on somebody, and that is changing. Like that, earlier, empathy was always shown in the family, and today people do not understand empathy at all. How can you learn empathy is to join the social organizations like Rotary. You can join the social organizations like Red Cross, NCC, NSS, and see how people are feeling. You should go into their shoes and find out how difficult it is for their living or how easy it is. So unless you understand the difficulty of the other person, you cannot grow. Natela, the CEO, had said that he had grown in life because he had empathy. After 40 years, if you do not know what empathy in life, you cannot grow up the social corporate or the corporate ladder. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. So, another question is, so what pointers would you suggest which would help teacher to motivate student during online learning session, especially in higher education?
Right? If the student is there waiting for you to attend your class, I think you should equip so much into yourself that you make the class so interesting. And probably new technique can be learned. Like in some movie, I said, the child actually goes to different classes, whereas the teacher remains in the same class and teaches the same thing. How differently you can teach is the only factor, I think, which will attract. And moreover, the kind of effort the teachers are giving, managing about 30 to 40 students or even 50 students is not easy. But that innovation of creating new techniques and new ideas and reading a lot of books and going through a lot of speeches. Today reading books has become difficult because of the various modern factors. You can kind of listen to a lot of speeches, which I am doing, and I think it is able to give me a different perspective of how I can teach better. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, one more, sir. Do you
Yes.
think that English is important for leaders in
No,
present scenario?
no, not at all. தமிழ்ல பேசினாலும் நல்லா பேசலாம். உண்மையான அன்பு கண்ணால பார்க்கறதுல இல்ல, மனசால நேசிக்கிறது. The communication on a language is only 10%. 90% is only through your action. You don't have to be good in English. You need to be very good in whatever you're speaking. The communication is very important. The message is very important. Language is not a problem at all.
Yes, okay, sir. Sir, whether leaders are born or made?
Okay, who asked that question, ma'am? Right. I think it is Satvik. Did you learn? I'm sure Satvik can ride a bicycle, or a motorcycle. Did he learn the bicycle from the time he was born? It is a skill. It is kind of you learn it over a period of time. Suddenly you realized you have something which the other people is not seeing, and suddenly you realize you're a leader. And leader doesn't mean in your own profession alone. Some people are phenomenal leaders by singing. Some people are phenomenal leaders by being very good to children. Some people are amazing leaders by doing social work. I always say that you put a social cause up in front and build a business around it. I have a very good, amazing friend who actually left his opportunity to study in IIM, and he started playing only Veena. Today, for one concert, he charges, or he's been charging little, but today he's charging 2 lakh rupees for a Veena concert. And what I'm trying to say is, The more you passionate about something, you kind of get into that and you become a leader in that passionate subject which you are. Like, probably Madam Dr. Jayam and me, when we were young, you see the first bench fellows are all becoming doctors. The second bench fellows may be engineers, and third and fourth bench will be BCom and HR people. Sorry for that. But again, what I'm trying to drive is the doctor who became a doctor did not become a doctor because he was passionate. He became a doctor because there was no more money in it. Satvik, if I'm going to ask you, Thambi, evlo kaas vechirke appadina, you probably will say 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees or whatever. Or sometimes you might say, I don't have kaase illa sir. So when I say, unakku arivu irukka Satvik, you get angry. So idhila irundhu enna theriyudhu, kaasu perusa, arivu perusa. Arivu perusa appdi nenachi, if you continue with the passion where you are really working on, then you will become a great leader, and you are made a leader, not born a leader.
Okay, thank you, sir. The same repeated question. Do you think communication skill is also important for leaders?
I just answered you that communication is very important. It is not about the English language. The way you communicate is very, very important. For example, how I can communicate about not wasting food to the children, or how I can communicate about Indian culture to the students this is how I communicate. I use an example of the Indian way. So the moment I ask Madam Niveda, Madam, did you like the lunch today? She will say like this. This shaking of the head like this is only peculiar to India. In America, you go and say this, they will think it is a no. For them, there is only two ways of expression, yes and no. This is something which is very peculiar to India. You ask a 2-year-old child, go to a 2-year-old child and ask her, Ma, iniki paal nalla irundha, she will say like this. So like that, Satvik or anybody, Vikrant is also there, and we have Mohammed Siddiq, all of them, for them, the best food in the whole world is the grandmother's food. And the reason is because the grandmother takes the food, makes it into small rolls, and gives you with a lot of love and affection and say, hey, Trittupaile, hey, Somberi, whatever she says, and that has got an acquired taste. And that acquired taste is there because of the love and affection. She's not a great chef or anything. So the communication is not just by words, it is with the love and affection. And the communication is with the way you handle a particular person. Just because you talk very loud and boldly and powerfully doesn't mean that you're a great communicator. You should show a lot of empathy, a lot of love, and a lot of affection to all the people around you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for answering all our questions.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for delivering an energetic and an enriching session. Your session was highly successful in the sense that it reached all our participants effectively and helped them to understand more on various leadership styles, how to become an effective leader, and also leadership qualities. At this happy moment, we would like to present our appreciation letter to the chief guest. I request Ms. Akshaya to display the appreciation letter.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Akshaya. I now call upon Ms. Ramya, Assistant Professor from the Department of Human Resource Management, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Ms. Ramya.
Thank you, Ms. Niveta. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Saying thank you is more than good manners, it's good spirituality. With that being said, I deem it honor and privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Department of Human Resource Management for this one-day national level webinar on leadership. Heartfelt thanks to our management and to our Honorable President, Engineer ACS Arun Kumar, and all other executives for rendering their support for conducting various programs. A special thanks to our eminent speaker of the day, Mr. M. Station Sai, for this wonderful and valuable enriching session related to leadership. It was a high opener for all of us to make known about leadership skills. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence and for sharing informative information. Hearty thanks to our Joint Registrar, Dr. S. Ramalingam, respected Dean Dr. S. Manivannan, Deputy Dean Dr. A.R. Arnachalam Academic, and Professor K. Sendal Kumar Administration for their continuous support in conducting various programs. It's my honor to thank our head of the department, Dr. R. Zayam, for providing me opportunity to deliver vote of thanks. Special thanks to the energetic participants for your presence and continuous support. It is my privilege to thank Madam Nimita Rajit for a wonderful mastering of the webinar. Last but not least, my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Ganesh Babu and Ms. Akshaya for their technical support, and I thank all others who have supported us in all the ways. Be thankful for what you have, and you will end up having more. With this quote, I finishing my vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramya. Kind attention to our participants. The feedback assessment form is available in the YouTube comment box. You are requested to complete and submit the form before 6 p.m. today. Later, the form will be deactivated. The e-certificate for participation will be sent to your registered email ID immediately. We have come to an end of the program. Hope everyone has gained knowledge. With the satisfaction of presenting a good webinar, we wish to sign off and meet you in the next program. Don't forget to submit your feedback form and subscribe our YouTube channel, Dr.M.G.R University Phase II Digital Learning, and also follow our department Instagram, Dr.M.G.R underscore HRM 2019, Facebook, Dr.M.G.R HRM, Twitter, Dr.M.G.R HRM 2019 for further updates about our programs and videos. Thank you.